Politics is the art of seduction. Which proved themselves to be a greater seducer, President Trump or President Kennedy? I'm Dan Roberts, producer and host of Public Radio's A Moment in Time. Both of these men came from enormous wealth and had to overcome negative public opinion to become politically successful. Trump made his mark through the emerging social media platforms, specifically short bursts on Twitter. Kennedy used humor to overcome the perception that he was a political lightweight. We hope you enjoy this chapter from my book, Master Presidential History in 1 Minute a Day. After resigning from the Army and a short period as military governor of Florida, Andrew Jackson returned to civilian pursuits and began to sort out his political future. Two important contemporary events were very much on his mind. In 1819, the agricultural market suddenly and precipitously collapsed, overstimulated by the War of 1812 and land speculation in the emerging cotton lands in the American Southwest. In reaction, the Bank of the United States tightened credit, forcing widespread bankruptcies. Farmers and settlers nationwide lost their homes. This provoked widespread hatred of banks and bank-issued paper money. Jackson shared this populist sentiment. A second crisis in this period was precipitated by slave state Missouri applying for statehood. This dispute was resolved with the so-called Missouri Compromise of 1820. Missouri came into the Union as a slave state, Maine came in as a free state, and slavery was banned in the northern part of the Louisiana Purchase. The controversy sent a chill throughout the political nation, and Jackson caught the fever of politics. As Jackson approached the election of 1824, he carried with him an animus against the banks, especially the Bank of the U.S., and a determination to suppress any disruptive national dispute over the issue of slavery. President Monroe wasn't going to run for a third term. This threw open the election and brought to an abrupt end the so-called era of good feelings. Jackson was nominated for president by the Tennessee legislature. Secretary of State John Quincy Adams, Treasury Secretary William H. Crawford, House Speaker Henry Clay, and War Secretary John C. Calhoun also ran in the election, but none of the five candidates secured a majority in the Electoral College, though General Jackson received the most electoral votes. This deadlock created a contingent election in the House of Representatives where each state had a single vote. Clay threw his support to Adams, who was elected. Adams then appointed Clay Secretary of State, and this was clear evidence to Jackson and his supporters of a corrupt bargain, and they began planning in earnest for the election of 1828. And in that year, Jackson defeated President Adams and began 2 terms in the White House. Thanks for joining me here from the University of Richmond. Order my books online at Amazon.com, IndieBound.org, or wherever fine books are sold. And receive the daily transcript from my radio program, A Moment in Time. Subscribe online at amomentintime.com.